At the end of last week's Torah portion, the Jewish men got themselves into a lot of trouble. Thousands of them were dying in a plague after they had been seduced by the young, attractive Moabite and Midianite women into acts of immorality and idolatry. Until Pinchas heroically risked his life, took his spear, and killed the most flagrant perpetrators. The plague then stopped. This week's Torah portion, which is named after Pinchas, opens with God applauding him, telling Pinchas that he's gained God's eternal covenant of peace and that he's been elevated to the priesthood. It's now thousands of years later, and the more things have changed, the more they've stayed the same. We face constant temptation out on the street, on the internet, and elsewhere. And in order to combat it, to conquer it, we need a little bit of Pinchas in each of us. I am convinced that if Caligula, the Roman emperor known for his decadence, were to be transported in a time machine to Manhattan in the summer today, he'd start walking the streets and he'd blush. And that would just be while passing the people wearing some clothing. When he'd get to Times Square and pass by people who aren't wearing any clothing at all, he'd say, "Are you kidding me?" And we have to face that temptation all the time. Make no mistake, when we face that battle between our internal angel and devil, our evil inclination and our good one, that's a battle for our soul. We can't expect to win 100% of those battles, but we have to aim to win the majority of them and to increase our winning percentage every year, so that we're on an upward spiritual trajectory in life. And we can't get frustrated if we don't bat 1,000. So how do we win that battle? Well, for starters, you can remind yourselves as to the sage's famous saying that who is mighty? The person who conquers his passions. And remember that God's reward always exceeds his punishment by 1,000-fold or more, which means that whatever fleeting pleasure you get from looking at that sight or that image, or worse, from engaging in that forbidden activity, the reward that awaits you is incalculably greater. I'm not suggesting there will be a bevy of beauties waiting for you in heaven. That's a different religion. But the reward will be greater in ways you can't even imagine. And not just spiritual reward, other rewards. There's no better time to utter a quick prayer to God than at the moment you're conquering temptation. You're walking down the street, you avert your eyes away from something that you know you shouldn't be looking at. You execute what I would call a no-look pass. You don't have to be LeBron James to do that. It just takes practice and restraint. And God knows how difficult that was for you. So say, "God, you know that was tough. Can I ask you for something?" A raise, a promotion, a new job, meet the person of your dreams, marital harmony, health, children who are on the right path. Ask for that right then and there while you're winning that battle against your evil inclination. And now maybe we can understand a difficult passage that we say during the Seder on Passover. It's a quote from Sefer Yehoshua, the book of Joshua. God is speaking and he's mentioning how Abraham's father was an idol worshiper. And God took Abraham away and gave him Yitzchak. And then to Yitzchak he gave Yaakov, Jacob, and Esav. Why are we mentioning Esav? How is that a gift? The answer is that Yaakov could not have become Yaakov. He wouldn't have been as great if he didn't have an Esav throwing temptation and roadblocks at him. Temptation that he overcame to become the great patriarch. Every time we face one of those battles, it's an opportunity for greatness.